And today we have Tim, who is known as Mr. Footballogy. Tim, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'll be glad to, and thank you very much for having me. As Gregory said, my name is Tim Wall. Wall is like the wall that you're surrounded by walls. And well, I must say before I say anything about myself is that I am deeply impressed with the group of people we have from all over the world. I mean, we really are where the sun it doesn't set. I mean, some people. I mean, we're in Taiwan and Turkey and Burundi and Morocco and Colombia, Uruguay. My goodness. Um, so I
Egypt.
guess the proper greeting would be from a very famous American movie from, it was maybe 20 years ago. It was called The Truman Show with Jim Carrey. And in the show, he was constantly monitored by TV cameras. And his standard line was, are you ready? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. So I think that would be the proper greeting for you, is that this is really impressive. Anyway, my name is Timothy Wall, or Tim, you can call me. I have taught, or I retired last year from the Los Angeles Unified School District, where I taught ESL and other subjects for 32 years. How time flies. And instead of me going out to the world came to me. At my one school, it was called Evans Community Adult School. We had like students from 135 countries, not all at once, but over the course of years we did. And so it really helped me, who grew up in a very monocultural, monolinguistic environment in upstate New York, where it's all English and mostly people from descendants from Western Europe. And so in Los Angeles, it was quite a contrast, a welcome contrast, I might say. And I have written a book. It's called Footballogy. You can see it here, Footballogy, Elements of American Football for Non-Native Speakers of English. That means for people like us, you, me, everybody can read it. It doesn't have to be non-native speakers, but everybody can benefit from it. In the book, I teach English, and I embed it in the context of American football. And I'm doing that because American football is the hottest sport in the United States. And I know we have people from Colombia and Morocco and other places where soccer is king. In fact, soccer is king of the world. Or you call it football, we call it soccer over here. But you know what I mean. It's the king. Well, we have American football, which is trying to make a little headway around the world, and I thought I would help it along by writing this book that teaches English and how to understand the game and speak a little more English better, communicate better in this book, through this book.
So today we are going to go through some phrases, some terms that come from American football that we use in everyday conversation. So if you hear this sports-related term in the future, hopefully you'll remember what it means and a bit of its background. So Tim, what is the first phrase that you have today?
Okay, how about this one here? I think you have a picture for this one. It's huddle or huddle up. This is a word that all of the words that I have today for us involve words that we use in everyday life. So these come from football, but we use them in regular life, in business mostly, or at your place of work. There you see a group of football players. They're in a circle. And what is that circle called? What's a circle called? It's called a huddle. Huddle, huddle. And that can be a noun, huddle, or a verb, to huddle. Or we also say huddle up. Like in business, if we're at a place, we're at work, and maybe we have a a group of 4 or 5 people, we need to discuss a plan, a strategy. What do? We say, okay, we take a few minutes to huddle. I say, okay, everybody, let's huddle up and find a solution to this problem. So that's essentially how it's used.
Yes, thank you. So I am hoping that we can have a few people, or as many as possible, to use this phrase in a sentence, just to get a bit of practice with it. Would anyone like to practice the phrase?
Let's pretend you're at your business or your place of work, and your boss has an assignment for you, and he wants you and you and you, maybe 3 or 4 other people, come into my office and discuss the problem. So instead of using the word discuss the problem, come into my office and let's or let you and me, let's do what? Let's huddle. Let's huddle up. What do you say? Huddle up.
We have a couple hands up. You'll have to tell me how to say your name so I get it right. But is it Hajar? Hajar?
Yes, Hajar, yes.
Hajar, okay.
I would say the company's director huddled up with the team to set the quarter strategy, for example.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's great.
Excellent.
Thank you.
David.
Yes, for example, my college and me haggle for their decision about about the team in our company.
Yeah, good. Good. Very good.
Great. Okay. Do we have any other examples? I guess it would be, interesting to think back to a time when you did a huddle up with someone.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, yeah, go for it. We'll do the question first, and then Mom, you can answer. What would you like to
can
say,
use
Hajar?
it as a noun, right?
Yes.
For example, I saw yesterday I saw a huddle. For example, we can say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you saw a huddle maybe on the field or the pitch. That would work.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that's very interesting that Gregory mentioned the field or pitch. That's very important because in British English they call the field the pitch, but we don't.
Yeah.
In English it's field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in the States we'd say field, but if you want to know a bit of British English, it would be the pitch. Amam, what would you like to say?
Okay, I'll be trying my best. Hello, everyone. I'm
Hi.
from Indonesia. My name is Imam Fauzi. It's honor for me to be here. Thank you very much. I'll be trying to give one examples. The teachers handle all the students in the classroom. Thank you very much.
That's a great example. I think that example also shows that it can also be a way to like create a group or to bring a group of people closer together.
Mm.
Great. So thank you. Maria, what would you like to say?
Yes, here our government has a huddle against the COVID.
Yeah. So like a brainstorm. That's another phrase. A brainstorm is when you come together to think.
Very good. Very good.
Alfredo.
Yes, please. After this session, let's huddle up in order to see what are the plans for this weekend.
Yeah, let's get
Is that
some
okay?
weekend plans.
Where I live, the COVID-19 is not over yet, and and city governor and health official, the doctors keep order to figure out how to keep the situation under control, and hopefully uh, we will get over it soon.
Yes, yes, I agree. And Tim, I have a question for you. So we've had a couple of people use a more, I would say, like scientific, official way to think of a huddle. But would you use a huddle, let's say, with the government?
Well, it depends on how it's used. It's informal, meaning it's not normally something that you're going to use in formal. You're writing a paper and use that. But yes, you could say that the leaders of the different branches of government huddled up yesterday to talk about how to address the COVID-19 problem. So yeah, yes, you could use it like that. Yeah.
Okay. I think we should move on to our next phrase. Tim, what do you have for us?
Okay, how about, okay, here is one in Roman Catholicism, or if you're a Catholic, you're familiar with this. It's called a Hail Mary. That's a prayer in the liturgy of a Catholic church where you say a prayer. You want a miracle to happen? What do? You say a Hail Mary. This is a term that's used in American football when there's no hope for a team to win a game. Maybe 1 or 2 or 5 seconds are left in the game, and they have time for one last play, and chances are 99.9% to 1, they're not going to be successful. So what do? In this case, they do a Hail Mary. In real life, we'd say a Hail Mary to hope for a miracle. And I think Gregory has an example of what I mean, of a team that's down to the last seconds, and they need to score a touchdown. A touchdown is is one of the ways to score in football, and they need to score a touchdown or they lose the game. So if you're ready, Gregory, or am I premature on this? Or
No, I'm ready.
okay.
I had to take off my headphones. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear the audio from the clip, but we'll try. If not, the audio is not necessarily needed.
Yeah.
Shotgun. Murray out of the pocket. 7 seconds. 6 seconds. Murray beats it downfield. It is caught. It is caught. DeAndre Hopkins. Miraculous. It's Murray magic.
So we would say that they did in the past tense, they did a Hail Mary, but in real life we'd say if everything is going against you in life and you have no chance at all, maybe you're going to you want a certain job and your competition is much better than you, and you're not going to get the job. You really don't think you will. So what do? You tell yourself, I better say a Hail Mary. And that means for a miracle. We often use say with Hail Mary. Your plane is going to crash. An extreme example, what do? You say a Hail Mary. Well, that one is quite literal. But when the situation is desperate, you say a Hail Mary.
Yeah. So would anyone like to use this phrase in a sentence?
Yes, may I ask you, do you happen to know the origins of this expression, Hail Mary?
The origin is from the Catholic Church. That's the prayer. Now, how it got involved in football, I don't know how it got involved in football, but that It means you say a prayer asking Mary, the mother of Jesus, in the Catholic liturgy, for a miracle. Please, just this one time. That's all I ask.
Okay, and it looks like similar, like when pigs fly. Is it similar to the same expression? Can we use it for the same situations?
When pigs fly, like when pigs fly, I'll go to the moon or something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Can we use it in the same situation?
Yeah, you use another idiom there. Well, it's got, oh boy, that's a toughie. It does, no, I'm going to say no, it's not going to be used the same way.
Yeah, I think the
No.
situations are similar, but you can't use them the same way. The way that you talk about both of them is different.
Exactly. Very good. Very well said.
Like for my example, I said, when pigs fly, I'll go to the moon. So
Mhm.
that's that situation. But
Will never
with a hail, what?
Something that will never happen.
Yeah. But with a Hail Mary, it implies that I'm trying to do something. So, like I would say, if I were an astronaut, like I'm hoping for a Hail Mary to get to the moon.
A friend of yours comes up to you and says, I really want this, I mentioned it earlier, a job, but I don't stand a chance.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way. I mean, I'm not qualified. Well, your friend says to you, you better hope for a Hail Mary. Hope for a Hail Mary. Or he could say, well, you better say a Hail Mary.
Okay.
And that means you still probably won't get it, but you want a miracle to happen.
Yes, but it somehow depends on your luck. For example, it can happen.
It can happen, but the chances of it happening are almost minuscule.
Well, I don't know if can use, but I have a cousin very ill. She is too ill, and so I Hail Mary for her. I don't know if I can use Hail Mary in that situation.
I think you would have to word it. You can use it in that situation, but you would say either I'm hoping for a Hail Mary or I'm saying Hail Marys.
Yeah, thank you. Would you please give me a little little definitions that I'm still confused to Mr. Tim says that it seems like we say when we say a Hail Mary, it's closely to say we extremely hope something happens. Is it right, Mr. Tim?
We hope something will happen, or we wish is a better word, something would happen. The chances, the odds of it happening, of becoming reality, are almost non-existent. A miracle. Somebody has God forbid, a deadly illness, and the doctors say there's no hope. Well, you can say a Hail Mary. It probably won't help, but that's the last thing you can do. And so in football, the same thing. You're not going to win the game. Fans are even leaving the stadium because they say, well, the game's over. Why stay? And then all of a sudden, the crowd that remains, they roar, oh my goodness, no! It's a miracle. There was a Hail Mary.
I'm curious, how do you say Hail Mary in Spanish? Just for a bit of context, the prayer. I'm curious if it's similar.
Ave Maria.
Ave Maria. Ah.
Okay.
Ave Maria.
Yeah, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
I I'd like to know if Hail Mary is the same as to persevere. Is it the same?
Is it the same as what?
To persevere.
To persevere? Persevere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's similar. Yeah, so when you're doing a Hail Mary or you're hoping for a Hail Mary, you're persevering. Persevering. That means you keep trying, you keep making the effort even though the circumstances around you are difficult.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Tim, I think we may as well talk about this one now.
So drop the ball.
Drop the ball.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Drop the ball. You're counting on somebody to do something. You expect somebody to help you, and that person doesn't fulfill his obligation or her obligation. What does she do or he do? He drops the ball. In football, you drop the ball. They call it fumble the ball. Fumble, F-U-M-B-L-E, fumble. But drop the ball is the same thing. The ball falls out of your hands onto the ground. You don't come through.
Okay. What another the last talk is informal or is possible to use in a formal conversation? It's very informal or
No, it's not
no?
very informal. It's something that we use. I've been to meetings before when I've heard administrators, it's my school, use drop the ball. It's like they were planning on a certain funding to come through from a government agency to fulfill our program, but that agency or person in that agency, they dropped the ball and we didn't get the funding that we wanted. So that's how that was used. When you rely on somebody to help you out with something, but don't drop the ball or I'll be very upset if you do. I need you.
Okay.
So don't let me down. Don't disappoint me.
Okay. Thank you. It's all.
Don't drop the ball.
Okay.
Yeah, do we have you're welcome. Do we have some people who would like to use this in a sentence? We have a few hands up as well. I'm wondering if we have questions. Do we have some questions?
Yes, I have an example. You correct me, please. My example is he was close to closing the deal, but he dropped the ball and missed the business. Is correct?
Right on. Perfecto. Excellent.
Okay. Thank you.
Public schools have dropped the ball when it comes to teaching students about art and music. So it means that the schools fail to keep working to reach the learning objectives, learning goals.
We're out of time. Sorry about that. If everyone could say thank you to Tim for joining. I learned quite a bit. So thank you so much, Tim.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tim.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much.